Welcome back. Welcome to 2025. This is episode 362 of the 365 Message Center show. Today we'll be covering off Teams recaps and being able to link to them, to share them with people, even people who haven't attended the meeting. We also have some good news around more functionality coming to new Outlook and what we can do with PST files inside that new experience. Fantastic. Might help switch people over. Lastly, Copilot Agents and group chats will be freely available, it would seem, or not. To people in those chats, even if you're licensed or not. Let's dive deeper into that. Episode 362, come and join us.
Come and join us is right. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the parlor that is the 365 Message Center show. I'm Daniel, and that's Daryl. I can never remember which way to point.
Look, I'm in control of that because I can do it in the edit, so you just point wherever you want.
Thank you, everyone, for joining, and we'd love to hear from you. As always, hit us up on socials at 365MCS on all the socials that matter. Welcome to 2025. Yay! Hope everybody. Did you have a good New Year's?
Oh, it was a New Year.
Oh my!
It ticked over. No, it was good. Look, we have summertime here in New Zealand, and a New Zealand summer traditionally is wet and rainy. So, yeah,
nice. Very, very nice. It actually was a little. I think it was a little rainy here too on New Year's. So, everyone, we have enjoyed the videos. Oh, my goodness, Daryl. People have sent us in videos for our special little thing we're going to do. So, people, we'd love to get more. So, if you haven't sent in a video, you can create a video, 10, 15 seconds. Just tell us who you are and why you watch or listen to the podcast. And then email a link to that recording to contact@365mcs.com. We'd love to have you part of the show, and we've got quite a few, so it's wonderful, but we're missing you. Yes, you. Go ahead and do it. You can pause this right now, take out your phone, do the recording, and then come back to the video. See? Or audio. See? It just works.
Yeah. I'm going to have some fun editing those. Very good.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. So, shall we jump right into it? Okay.
Yep, let's do that.
Great.
So first up.
So I am first up. This one is Microsoft Teams. Meeting recap can be shared as a link. This is one that Daryl kind of highlighted in the intro. This is look at that. MC966633. So this one is kind of circling around an issue that I have with meeting recaps. It's kind of trying to help. Let me explain. So what this is going to give us the capability of copying the link to that recap landing page for meetings. And remember what's in that recap landing page. We have the video, the recording, the transcript link, the collaborative notes, if you took advantage of collaborative notes. And if you have Teams Premium or Copilot, M365 Copilot license, you'll also see the AI generated recap notes of the meeting and suggested tasks there as well as other functionality. So that landing page is what this link is. This we're going to be able to copy this link and then share it out to people. And as Daryl suggested, even people who didn't attend the meeting, as long as they have access to see the recap, that link will work for them. They can ask for access if that doesn't happen, or they don't have access. The thing I was talking about circling around and getting to, Daryl, is I find sharing out recaps to be a task that if you forget can cause a problem. And for me, when I'm having a meeting with people, I want them to know what happened. especially external people, external from my tenant, that is, I have to send them that meeting recap information to them as an extra step. And this is kind of getting near that, well, why don't you just send them a link? Well, external people, you can't. This won't work for external people. This is for internal people. But this is kind of getting around trying to make that recap experience better for your users. And Daryl, do you think this is helping in that, trying to help or getting to the point of a better recap experience?
Well, I think it fills a gap for people who have not attended the meeting. Those who have and are in your organization, they can get there. They can see that. I guess a link could say, hey, remember the recap? Here it is. But for those who haven't, you mentioned earlier that they would have to request access to perhaps the recording or I guess files that might be related to part of the meeting recap. So sending them a link is just going to give them access to that page. They'll have to get the additional access for you. I agree that the external attendees is that part that we're missing. We might still need to have a bit more control over that rather than it being just an automatic thing. But
I agree with you there, because sometimes, not everything needs to be shared with external, I think. But they are part of the same meeting. And, what I do with recap, you have to clean it up a little bit, to be honest. I mean, it's generated by AI. It doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's correct. And I mean, many times it suggests things of creating a task that are not tasks, for instance. This is just one example. It could be wrong. It says, oh, do these things. Okay, well, that test may be completely unneeded. We talked about it and actually did it in the meeting, so why is it a task or whatever? But then it also may be assigning it to the wrong person or whatever. You don't just copy and paste content that AI creates. And that's in general, not just in meeting recaps. That's for everything, right? So don't just copy and paste. This is rolling out targeted release early February of 2025, completed by early February. So it's one of those instant ones. Rolling out general availability worldwide, and GCC be mid-February of 2025. Wow. It's 2025, people. Completed by late February 2025, and then GCC High, late March, rolling out to you in GCC High. So be looking forward to that. And what I'm looking forward to, Daryl, is having a conversation around bridging the gap between classic Outlook and the new Outlook. So can we have a conversation around that, please, sir?
We can. One particular feature, I guess a group of them, but something that like I said to you when we were preparing for this, there is a generation out there that probably don't know what a PST file is. They're probably the same generation that doesn't know what email is until they join the workforce. New Microsoft Outlook for Windows, manage email in PST files, MC96639. I'm also going to talk about the following message, which is a similar topic. New Outlook for Windows, move email between mailboxes and PST files. So, and that is MC96640. So, we're talking about PST files, and first of all, there are still some things that people have been waiting for before they can confidently use New Outlook. And one of those is connecting to a PST file and making use of the messages within that PST file. What's a PST file? Let's recap that real quickly for those who don't know. They're a separate mail file that you could use on your machine with classic Outlook, and you could drag and drop messages over there, other items as well, and it would store them there, and it would feel like a functional mailbox. You could flag things, you could just organize it just like another mailbox. Downside was that it was a file, and it was sitting there on your local machine. There can be some compliance issues around that, and there was also thoughts around just managing that in terms of storage. And that was one of the sideways ways of managing storage. If you're only given a small mailbox, you would drag stuff out to a PST file. Now, it's also been a mechanism for helping people to take over a role. Yeah, when you've got a collection of old emails that are going to be important for the new person coming in to fulfill that role, the PST file was sometimes shared with the new person. Now, this is something that we haven't been able to do with New Outlook. Late last year, we did have one update that allowed you to at least open up a PST file and read it only. You could read the content. These two messages introduce the ability to go into that PST file. It's no longer just connected, but I can now treat it like a regular PST file, flag items, drag and drop, organize stuff. And that second message is being able to move items between a live mailbox and a PST file and vice versa. So, Daniel, you feel that this is going to be something that will unblock a few organizations for using New Outlook?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, as you mentioned, the message that was late last year, I guess it was November timeframe, saying we could add a PST to New Outlook just for read capability. I think that's huge, and that especially around that scenario you mentioned of people leaving or whatever and needing access to files or messages in PSTs. But this, I think, there are organizations that are using PST files in an active scenario, meaning people have them using classic Outlook to be able to store messages. And so this is removing that barrier from moving to the new Outlook. And there's different reasons why you would want to have PST. That's not the point of the show, really, is to explain what that would be. But there's different reasons why you would want to use PSTs. And then there's also reasons why you don't want to use them. And when this was announced, there was I saw some conversations on socials about, some people were saying, oh, this is great. And other people were saying you should never allow PSTs. And, obviously it depends. There's a lot of it depends in there. But for those that are using them, this is great that it's coming to New Outlook, because we know New Outlook is getting most of all of the new features and functionality and development time. So ultimately, you're going to need to move to New Outlook. It's just the way it is. Maybe not immediately, but you will need to. So having this functionality, helping bridge that gap is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So good to see these abilities coming. The first message, which was all about managing mails and PST files, it's arriving in targeted release, rolling out mid-January, completed late February. General availability worldwide will begin rolling out March 2025, completed late March, and GCC begin rolling out March, completed late April. The second update, which has been able to move messages, looks like it's the same, huh? Yeah. Same dates. So, maybe it could have been the same message. That's perhaps why we did them together. But sticking with the theme of togetherness.
Oh.
Maybe not. No, I don't know how I'm linking that. Let's just go with getting some help from Copilot in a new place.
You know what, Daryl? It could be a way to find out, does your organization allow users to use PSTs? Maybe that's a way to use this functionality. You could ask maybe Copilot. Microsoft Copilot in the Microsoft 365 admin centers, MC 969450. This is, yes, indeed, Copilot coming to M365 admin centers so that you can engage with the Copilot. I don't know, a Copilot. Do we call it a the? Do we have names for Copilot in your organization? Hey, put it in chat and comments down below the video, or if you're listening and you named your Copilot, in your organization, whether other people know the name or not, send it to us at contact@365mcs.com. I'd love to hear, or put it on socials. Love to hear your thoughts on naming Copilot. But anyway, that's a rabbit hole. This is going to give you, as an admin, capability to use Copilot to do things or find out information is actually what I should say, not do things. And I'll explain here in a second what that means. And then the second part of this is describing that they're going to be rolling out a pre-built admin agent, a Copilot agent, for admins to be able to use when they're having conversations with M365 Copilot. So, that would be outside of the admin centers. So you would be able to use that agent to have direct access to that information. Now, what does this thing do? This is the first thing I asked when I saw this. And I'm like, well, great. They have a bulleted list. It says, when available, Copilot in the admin centers can help. And then there's 3 bullets. The first bullet, frankly, was written by a marketing person. I can tell you that right now. And it says absolutely nothing. I'm sorry. Whoever wrote this, please forgive me, but it absolutely says nothing about what it actually does. It's basically, it's going to help you. Cool. How? The second one, that was optimized routine task, but it doesn't give us 0 information. Second, generate insights faster. Again, actually doesn't tell you anything. Basically gives you insights. What kind of insights? I don't know. The third bullet does say that it is going to help you understand in an adoption kind of way how you can get more out of M365 features and capabilities when you're in the admin center, understanding what you have the capabilities for. So I'll just say, Daryl, those 3 bullets, maybe that's not the most important thing you should focus on in this message. For those change agents out there that are listening to the show, hey, help me with this message, ignore those 3 bullets. Sorry, whoever wrote it, I am sorry. That's not the helpful bit. The helpful bit is down below. At the very bottom, there is a link to the Copilot in M365 Admin Centers preview, and that takes you to learn.microsoft.com page, where it gives you some helpful, very helpful hints and example prompts of things you can do. So now this is the kind of table we love, right? Gives us an idea of where it can be used and some example prompts that you could use. And some of this is really helpful. One that I'll highlight, identify all users who are unlicensed. This could be very helpful, especially though that we know, and this is a message we covered a little while back, that unlicensed users, OneDrives, are going to start costing you potentially a lot of money, right? And there's some people who have been posting on socials here in the last week saying, hey, everybody, keep up. Yeah, well, you already know this, listeners and watchers, because we already told you this. It's a big deal, right? Well, Copilot could help you. Who's not licensed for OneDrive, so I can go and look at their storage to see if they're going to cost me money. So that's great. I think that there's some other examples here that, where you can find things like, how do I set message policies? Daryl, do you see any that on this page, some examples of these prompts that you find interesting, helpful, or downright funny?
There's one on identity management saying perform a guest access review. And now that will be helpful to say, well, show me all the guests and maybe tell me when they were last active, and that'll help you make decisions around turfing those accounts or getting back to them and saying, do you still need them? You haven't used this for 2 years. Yeah,
absolutely. But cleaning up guest accounts is a problem for every organization, I think. And you can put policies in there and everything, but using Copilot to understand where you might have some gaps is, I think, pretty important. There is one that I thought was kind of interesting. Discover products. This is around, that kind of, how can you, be more helpful, or get more use out of M365. And it says, there's 3 examples here, and I will let the audience determine which one I thought was kind of humorous. The first one is, what is included in Business Premium? Second, what is the price of Viva Goals? Third, how do I get email? Now, actually, I think 2 of those are kind of funny, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to get to email, why are you in
and
the
you're in the
admin
admin center, then you shouldn't be there.
Get out, sir or ma'am. You should not be there. What is the price of Viva Goals? Well, as for those people that watch and listen to our show, you'll know Viva Goals is going away at the end of this year. So you probably shouldn't be asking what the price is, unless you're asking that to understand how much money you're going to save when they retire the product. But okay, all fun aside, there are some helpful. When I read the message, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be very helpful, to be honest, because there was no good examples, and I'm like, all it's going to do is tell me where I can go find policies, which that's what I was assuming. I'm like, okay, or all it's going to do is say, hey, you need more users licensed with Copilot, of course. But when looking at this, things like how, give me a recap of what's going on, like you said, guest access. How many guests do we have in our organization? What is the health of Teams right now? I'm hearing some people saying there's issues with Teams. What's the health of Teams, and being able to summarize?
So on that, where you might normally go to a social media platform and say, oh, what's going on here? You could be in chat already. Maybe you've even got a group chat with your IT admins.
Yeah.
And make that a conversation. Maybe
so. And things like, we talk about policies. I often find myself going, okay, where do I set that? Where's that policy at? And I have to just think it through real quick. Well, what if I'm in Copilot and I say, I want to set a meeting, email. One that I come across quite often, I'm like, I got to remember where that is how do I disable email forwarding externally? But, because I don't want people forwarding their email to an external email address. Where do I set that? That'd be really great to ask Copilot. So anyway, find more information there. And then there's also a second link there to a video of a recording from Microsoft, from Ignite on a session. I will say, I didn't see a demo in that video of this functionality, so it will be cool to actually see it in action. This is rolling out late January, expected to be completed by late March. So this is going to be kind of one of those rolling things that come out in your organization. So you'll see. Oh, one thing I did want to mention, admins do not have to have a Copilot license. You just have to have at least one user that has a Copilot in your organization, have an M365 Copilot license, and then all admins get it. It's very interesting. I'm just going to say it that way. It's just very, very interesting. Daryl, what is also very interesting about Copilot is, you mentioned group chat earlier when we were just talking about that. Wouldn't it be great to have Copilot involved in there and helping us?
Well, yeah. That's partly why I linked to that. I left it open to you for your segue. Microsoft Teams using Copilot agents in group chats. MC 96661. This is where the agents that we might create, and the last message was discussing one of those examples, that a Copilot agent for the Microsoft 365 Admin Center can be added to a group chat, and you can have discussions with it and get focused responses and knowledge from that agent. So that's one example. Of course, the SharePoint agents is another. And what this message is letting us know is that it is going to be available to add to group chats. Great. But one other thing that I find quite interesting, and we want to get a bit more detail on this, since not a lot there, but one sentence, where is it? It's, I think I'm looking at the right message here. I thought I was. Oh, users do not require a Copilot license to use this feature?
Things that make you say,
Yeah, now think about that. We have a group chat, and someone's created this agent for us. It could be the admin's one. It could be something else. And let's say we've got a group chat. None of us have Copilot, but we're able to add a Copilot agent to that chat and get some information from it. Now, we did discuss a message in our last show that talked about metered access to Copilot agents that have access to our organizational data. SharePoint
Metered?
agent's been one of them.
metered?
Huh? Metered.
Meat?
Okay, metered. So I'll have to say it for the North American audience there, and poorly. But metered is when you don't have a a Copilot license, but you will be able to access this, and it will be charged to your organization on a metered basis. It's not mentioned in this message, but we believe that that is how it will be given access. Unless Microsoft's been super generous and now Copilot agents are free to anyone who isn't licensed. Unlikely. Not the being generous or being nice, because I'm sure they do show generosity in other places. I'm going to stop digging myself a hole.
When's
Daniel,
this rolling out?
well done. Look, it's a good message with screenshots. Shows us what the experience is like. Shows the screen of what it is to choose an agent. Looks very much like adding an app to a chat. Just find the agent that has been created. What's there? There's instructions on how to disable this if you don't want to make it available to your organization. What have you got to add, Daniel?
Nothing.
All right.
I
It's
mean,
rolling
I think
out.
I think that whole disabled thing is actually is disabling Copilot for your tenant. So, don't go willy-nilly and doing things like that just to disable this feature. It is disabling Copilot. So, yeah.
Perhaps the message needs to be updated with, if there exists, some instructions about disabling Copilot agents in chats for specific groups of people. So, yeah, if we link all of these things together that aren't been explained very well in this message, if it is metered access, you may want to turn it off so that you are not being charged for the use of Copilot agents in group chats. When is this rolling out? General availability worldwide beginning early February, and expected to be complete mid-February. Doesn't it sound like any kind of American February?
I'm really appreciating your
accents
accent.
are not great.
I'm really appreciating it.
Passing on to a last engaging message from Daniel. He's going to keep you engaged as he talks about some updates in the communities there.
I am. Microsoft Viva Engage. New features for Microsoft 365 Copilot Adoption Community. MC971030. This is, we talked about this before. Last year it was rolled out, this M365 Copilot Adoption Community. There's a special community in Viva Engage where it created this community for you. It actually added your licensed M365 users, Copilot users to the community automatically. It was fantastic. We even were talking about, hey, wouldn't it be great if all communities were this way, with, or at least for products, saying, hey, if someone has licensed for, Viva topics or even Viva goals, you could, okay. Sorry, I'll quit picking on them. But you could have a community for users who are licensed. So this one was rolled out, and people could use this as a way to get resources and training, and people can have conversations around using the product. So this is talking about the feature of being able to, wait for it, take that community, undesignate it. Is that a word? Take away that functionality of the adoption features that are automatically sent to that community, to take that away and then put those adoption features to another community. And so that functionality is part of this as well. To be able to say this community no longer has that, but being able to, add it to other another community. We are hypothesizing because it actually doesn't say that you can do that, but it says you can remove it. So I think that's what that means there. I will pause just for a second to say, hey, remember, we're wanting some videos from you. A 10 or 15 second video of you just to take out your phone and record yourself saying your name and why you watch or listen to the show, and send it to contact@365mcs.com, the link or the video if it's very small, so you can be part of the show. Yes, I know I just stopped in the middle of a message because I know some people skip the intro, the first part of the show, and we really, really, really would like to have some video. We have quite a few that people have sent in, so if you'd like to be part of that, we'd love for you to be part of our little special we're going to do. So, now, remember, video, send it to us, please. So again, coming back to the message, we'll be able to, again, receive those recommendations of, the question and answers when composing a question based upon, this in this community. Those will be suggested to you as part of this functionality for this new functionality that is coming, and really being able to. And it says it here, this collective knowledge from Engage, but this is very much a Copilot functionality of helping us get the answers we need and be part of this adoption community. And then again, though, admins of this community will be able to remove those adoption features from this existing community. And and it says apply them to a new one or a different one. I remember I read that. We didn't make an assumption there, Daryl. It actually says we will be able to apply it to a new one. So, Daryl, have you seen this functionality that the adoption community used? And do you think this is, especially the moving of saying, oh, this is great, but we're going to move it to a different kind of community or whatever, this functionality. Do you see that being something that organizations will be using?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to imagine a scenario where you want to move it. Maybe they've created a community, it's been misnamed, or there's some content in there that they need to try and trim up or something, and let's just start a new community and shift it over to somewhere else. That's the only scenario I can think of. I actually haven't experimented with this one myself, this feature. I would like to see what it does. So there'll be people who are viewing this message and they go, "Oh yeah, that's what it looks like." Are these questions being asked automatically by a Copilot in Engage and just drop there, or does someone have to create the post, see the suggested question, say, "Yep, I'll use that, I'll post that," and then people respond to it? So yeah, I don't know, but that's something that could be used.
Yeah, and I'm confused, just like you. I don't know what this is going to look like because, this whole, recommendations for similar questions and answers, that's the answers in Viva kind of functionality that we've had before, but it's separate, not in the community like this. And so is that they're bringing that functionality to this? Is that just because the people that are a member of this have Copilot already? And so therefore they're getting this functionality, or just some questions there that we do not have the answer for. So, please don't, you could read between the lines, but I just don't think we have the answer to it. So hopefully we will get the answer to very, very soon, because this is rolling out early January, expected to be completed by early February. So we'll have the answer hopefully within the next few weeks, to give us an understanding of how exactly this will be done.
Daniel, as you were just saying that last minute, I'm actually going through the steps to very simply deploy this community. So good hats off to the ease of of how you can deploy it very simply. Yeah, and we'll be able to see. I'll be able to keep an eye on this, and we'll let you know how this plays out.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. Hit us up on socials at 365MCS on all the socials that matter. We'd love to hear from you and engage with you, and love to get your comments and your questions, your praise, your concern, whatever it is for all of these messages. We'd love to hear from you, so please do reach out.
All right, so we'll see you next week. And again, welcome to 2025. We will continue delivering value at the 365 Message Center show. See you next week.